in our little hole location, number one, and so everybody will be out here a little bit later on, benefiting Folds of Honor. So should be a lot of fun. Joe and I are going to cruise around in a golf cart, and I think we're even going to be able to like jump in on DVD. They don't know that yet, but they're going to learn, and
they're going to learn the hard way, man.
Yeah.
I apologize.
We'll mess up their grid, but
this is day 3 of me sounding like Miley Cyrus, so I apologize.
You sound good. I
appreciate that, man.
It came in like a wrecking ball.
So maybe I can get some voiceover work.
That could be good. But anyway, excited to be out here. Had fun last night at the Speedway Children's Charities event at Podium 1. Joe, this was really cool. They had all these, you've heard about iRacing and the Sims and stuff. So they had those all set up, and you had an opportunity to race against Josh Berry, Chris Buescher, and Nick Sanchez, who are real drivers. Mm-hmm. And Josh Berry, if you don't know his story, being from Hendersonville, he kind of met Dale Earnhardt Jr. because they met on iRacing.
Oh, wow.
So he has a lot of experience with that. So it was cool. But these simulators were awesome. Like, they move with you, they bump, like it's like you're in the actual car. A lot nicer than the setup I have at home.
So you could be a NASCAR driver one day.
I could, yeah. I might be a little old for that now, but it was fun. Raised a lot of money. My buddy John Roberts, of course, longtime Speed Channel host, and he was a part of it, and his wife, and caught up with Josh, who's going to race tonight at the fairgrounds before being out here this weekend, and Chris and Nick. So it was neat.
You're starting to sound a little bit like Mike Organ. All your buddies. Got my buddy.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of buddies.
Mike's got a lot of buddies.
Hey, speaking of Mike Organ, when I was driving in here to the beautiful Hermitage Golf Course, I saw a sign that said to the left, Rayon City.
You should probably pull over, bow your head, take your hat off, and honor Rayon City for what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of buddies over there.
There's a Merritt Street, too. So, we're just honoring everybody on the way.
Really? Which way did you come in?
I don't know. Old Hickory.
Did you come in through Madison?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the way the good old GPS told me to go.
I was like, how you seen Rayon City coming in from Hermitage? Okay. Yeah. Take a left over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I come in a different direction because Bellevue.
Yeah.
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 So,
I got a little shack down the street, so I just stumble over here and get it done.
Yeah, that's good.
It is good, pal.
D-Mace goes, we know now. Yeah, we're gonna interrupt your show, D-Mace. Hope you enjoy that.
Hey, thanks for listening, buddy.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that.
Right.
Tell Adam to ask his questions. But we're excited to be here. This is a great event that we put together every year, and it's near and dear to us, and working with Folds of Honor to raise money for them, such a great organization. It's definitely cool. There's a silent auction that's already going, and obviously we want to thank Gary Force Acura in Brentwood at 1634 Westgate Circle, and Atmos Energy, your natural gas company, for being our title sponsors. And the auction, you can just go to 615open.com and you can check out the auction there.
Nice. Well done. It'll be a fun day over here today. Always a good time.
Yes, it is. So the Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup Final for the 3rd straight year after winning last night, and the Oklahoma City Thunder return. Well, I guess they've never been, but the franchise goes back to the NBA Finals.
What?
They used to be the Supersonics.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I guess Supersonics were there, and they won in like 78 and 79. With downtown Freddie Brown, Jack Sikma, and those guys back then. It's one half of the worst final that's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
If Indiana wins.
I hope Indiana wins.
I
want Indiana to win the whole thing.
I want chaos, Yeah.
I just want different.
I want people in the home office like, I can't believe this is terrible. Good. Indiana, Oklahoma State.
I'm just tired of the same teams.
Always.
Now I think in the NHL we're probably going to get a rematch, because I think Edmonton's going to beat Dallas, and so it'll be Florida Edmonton again.
It's a long trip, right?
Yeah. I think Edmonton might get them this time. If they get to the final, I think this might be.
Were they up 3-1 last year?
Edmonton
or 3-0?
Robbie, you're listening. I don't remember. I think it did go 7.
I thought Edmonton was up 3-1, and Florida won 4. I don't remember.
I don't either. I've slept since then, barely. But so I got to pick on one of my friends. You know, this with the golf tournament and the race and everything. It's been a little bit of a busy week, right?
Yeah.
And one of my friends was like, "Wow, this must be a busy week for you." And I just sarcastically go, "What? I haven't noticed."
Is that Phil?
It was not.
Oh man.
But let's see. It went 7. So
was Edmonton up 3-1?
No, Florida won game 1. Florida won the first 2 games, first 3 games. And then Edmonton, so Florida was up 3-0, and Edmonton battled back and forced game 7. That's what it was.
So I was half correct.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I knew it went 7. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think game 7s are great in any sport because they rarely happen. When they do, you should watch it and take it in and enjoy that. So good for them. Be nice. Our Wyshynski at 10, he's got some travel miles coming his way. Woo, getting to Florida to Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
That's like 5 days by yak. It'll take you a while to get there, man.
5 days by yak.
It'll be a while to do that. So we're not golfing today?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I figured we would help the contestants out by not golfing.
Okay. I get what a hole it is over here. I have a 4-iron that's in the pond.
Did you really?
I launched over here. Yep. I played really good one day, and it was a par 3, and I hit a bad shot. So from the top of the tee box, I did 2 turns and launched it, and it went. And the marshal came by and said, "You need to get out of here." And I'm like, "You need to throw me out." This is 1994 or 5. And I walked off. I didn't have a Vince Gill temper, but I came close.
This is before you were Nashville's media darling.
Way before. I hope there's no video of this.
I actually hope there is.
No.
I would love to see this.
Yeah, we talk. We laugh. We love Vince, but he's got that golf temper, man, that comes out when he golfs.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. And that's it, man. You do it, man. It's the most frustrating thing ever.
Yeah, Wes in Clarksville is concerned about you. Joe sounds sick as a dog. You're not sick. You've lost your voice.
Lost my voice. I feel fine. I went to the gym.
But you know what you haven't lost? You haven't lost your smile. We're glad.
I sound like my grandmother. She's on her ninth pack of Virginia Slims unfiltered. Don't turn the TV on. It's time for Wheel of Fortune and sit down. Yes, Grandma.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Got a big show. We'll talk a little hockey with Greg Wyshynski coming up at 10, but before that, ESPN's Ryan Smith going to join us at 9:30.
He is. He's been on ESPN for quite a while. Legal analyst, does a lot of stuff with ESPN. It's going to be fun. And, he gets to host 2020, which is an iconic news magazine show. And they got a really bizarre episode coming out tomorrow night. So Ryan will join us, but we'll talk sports and the landscape of everything that goes on in NFL and all that. And we maybe delve into Will Levis in that awkward interview yesterday at Titans camp.
I was a little surprised that he talked. I mean, I guess he had to eventually.
Right.
But it's just like, it's the weirdest thing too, because it's like, all right, do you really care what he has to say? And then on the other side is, yeah, you actually do, because like, I'm curious of his perspective on all of this.
I love what he did when somebody said, well, do you want a fresh start? And anytime you want to be a smart aleck in a really professional way, re-ask the question back to them.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? And the reporter's like, I mean, you want to get out of here? Probably not. He said, you want to get out of here and, get a new, fresh start. I mean, it was so awkward, but good for Will Levis, man. What do you think he wants? Of course he wants a fresh start. Think he would sit there and say, yeah, I'd like to be Cam Ward's backup after I was terrible last year?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you've ever been in a position where you've gotten passed over by somebody, yeah, you want a fresh start.
And then the company man, our buddy Jim Wyatt, got the questions back on track. Doing what he does best.
Which is his job.
Which is why he's over there.
Part of it.
That.
I mean,
yeah, that's a great question. Do you really want to hear from Will Levis? Because I do.
I think a majority of people do.
I think some like, nah, he's moving on and all that. Look, he put himself in this situation.
Well, who knows if he is moving on? Because the thing is, like, unless you're planning to give him away, like as a charitable donation or something, like you're not going to get anything for him.
Isn't June 1st another cut line or something in the
well,
NFL?
That's the post June 1st. Yeah,
okay.
like money moves around. I mean, I did think you could get like a 6-round pick for him they could have traded him at the draft. And my guess is, since he's still here, that I was wrong.
Well, my thing is, if I know you're getting rid of your tumbler, all right, you got a tumbler over there, and I know you want to get rid of it, and you say, hey, man, about a 6-rounder. No, because I know you're getting rid of it eventually. So I'm not giving you anything. So when you do that, I'm going to grab your tumbler from you. Can I have your tumbler?
No.
I can't? Why not? You're going to get rid of it. It's one of those things. So that's why Will Levis, teams know they're going to get rid of him. Why give up value for that? I would not. And if they don't cut him, then it's an awkward situation over there with them and their 19 quarterbacks in there. But like Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen are like, please trade Will Levis. Please trade him, because that opens up a spot in the quarterback room.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't think they're going to – well, I don't know. Like, Kaharski was real quick to say the other day, I don't think they're going to carry 3 because that would take up a roster spot, and that would be bad roster management. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback. Usually I would agree with that. You got a rookie quarterback, and you don't have – like –
can Brandon Allen win you a game?
I don't think so.
He comes in halfway through.
And, like, that's the crazy part of this. Will Levis probably could. All right, hold that thought, because this is an interesting conversation to have. We'll continue it coming up next. We're live at Hermitage Golf Course for the 615 Open, benefiting Folds of Honor here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been a backup in a while. I don't plan on shifting my mindset at all, regardless of what the situation is. So I'm just gonna be ready to play quarterback whenever I'm in school.
Said, "Or do you want a fresh start?" And anytime you want to be a smart aleck in a really professional way, re-ask the question back to them.
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you mean?" And the reporter's like, I mean, you want to get out of here? Probably not.
Going out on the radio. Look, if we're going to do this together, there's some issues we need to settle, okay? I mean, you said I had a weak chin. You said the way I pee is feminine. How do you think that makes me feel? I mean, that list you have, you put a lot of thought in. It's weird. I hear you. Let's clean the slate right now. Fresh start. All right. Fresh start. Maybe we should call ourselves the Febreze Brothers because it's feeling so fresh right now.
There's Will Levis and a bunch of other clips that I didn't quite understand. But what movie was that?
The other guys. Fresh start.
Other guys.
Oh, okay.
With Will Ferrell and Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's a good movie. So discussing Will Levis and this whole thing, I kind of think that as crazy as this sounds, like if he's willing to be a backup and can have a good attitude about it, he'd probably be the best choice to be the backup. We've seen him do it. We've seen him have those good moments. And the thing is, the talent is there. It's the decision-making that was terrible. And that's why he's not a starter anymore.
Do you like the approach this way better than Tannehill when they drafted Malik Willis? I'm not your mentor.
Yeah.
I'm basically not here to help you.
Yeah, no, I would rather hear a guy go, hey, look, it is what it is. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to bust my ass and compete and, just work. And when my number's called, be ready to go. And that may be considered a cliche answer, but it's really the right answer to give.
Tannehill had to walk that back. I think it hurt him in the public eye.
It did, because he came off looking like a-hole.
Because that was played on all the major major sports networks. It was reported nonstop, and then he was asked about it the whole time. Like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to help out, get the team. That old canned answer of like, we're all here together. But look, if Will Levis goes in with a good attitude and says, hey, whatever they need, we'll get it done. Again, Cam Ward starts. There's no way in Hades he's playing 17 games. He's not. Quarterbacks don't last anymore. Don't miss a game or two. There are no more Brett Favres and Peyton Mannings and Steve McNairs. They're gone. That day's gone. Quarterbacks aren't playing 17 games because you're going to get injured, get hit. That's a lot of games being played.
And especially, I know we sit here and we go, it's an improved offensive line, and on paper it appears to be, but, I'm not ready to say that this is the best offensive line in the NFL. So
you still get hit.
Yeah, I mean, the chances are he's going to get banged up.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Which, again, creates the argument that is a dumb argument because it's not going to happen, but it's a smart argument because of what I'm about to say. Would it not make sense to maybe start Levis and then let Cam take the job? They're not going to do that. But when you're talking about things that, when you're trying to be sensible,
right?
See what you have in the offensive line. Now, what I hope they do, this is what I hope they do. Maybe the first preseason game, you do start Levis, and you start that offensive line, and you let that offensive line play for at least a half or more, and then that'll kind of give you a gauge of where they're at, and then you can kind of start easing the rookie in there.
I disagree. I'd start Cam Ward. All the chances you could start him and get him out there and running with the first team and come out and warm ups and lead the team out of the locker room. Do it. If you're your guy, do it. I think it's a step back when you get Levis doing that. And I go back to when Mariota was replaced in 2019. That next week, I remember just watching Mariota's body language, and you kind of felt sorry for him a little bit because he had put himself in that situation with bad quarterback play, but he still showed up. And I thought it was awkward. And there's a picture, I think, is it me and you? There's a bunch of us. One week, we're all at Mariota's locker, and the next week, we're all at Tannehill, and there's Mariota standing by himself. I mean, it changes in an instant, so all the media now is at Tannehill. So now all that media is going to be with Cam Ward. And how does Will Levis take that all in when the season starts? And look, he's got a good attitude and plays, helps the team out. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, I am too. But I will stand by if I were going to place a bet on it, he's not on the roster by week 1.
I think I'm with you, and I think it'd be better because now it is really awkward.
Right. I mean, like, I get it. Now, at the same time, you can say, well, you should have played better.
Right.
You shouldn't have just thrown up a dumb pass and, multiple times and gotten intercepted. But,
yeah, Levis said he spent the offseason improving his mechanics with quarterback guru Jordan Palmer in hopes of improving his efficiency. He says it was just a lot of releasing my stroke, relearning my body, and trying to get back to the basics of that. I feel like it's really paid off. I've been feeling good the last few weeks. There was never a question about your arm, Will.
Yeah.
There was a question about your head.
It's decision making.
Right. That was the problem.
Let me ask this question. So Jordan Palmer, is that Carson's brother?
It is. Younger brother.
So he's this quarterback guru that works with all these guys.
Uh-huh.
Last I checked, he sucked. Like, he was not good.
Right.
I mean, he was like with the Redskins practice squad, the Arizona Rattlers, whatever that is, the Cincinnati Bengals as a backup, Sacramento Mountain Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Chicago Bears, Buffalo Bills. He was here?
Yeah.
In 2014?
Yep.
I don't remember that.
Was that Fitzpatrick or Mettenberger, one of those he backed up? Yep.
He's the director of quarterback development for the XFL or UFL.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, why is he a guru?
Remember, those who can't play coach.
Yeah, well.
So, like Roy Williams, North Carolina basketball coach.
Yeah.
Never played a second of basketball.
Yeah. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
So if you could do something and somebody could see, baseball managers are the same thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
3/4 of those guys were never anything good in baseball, but they're good people persons, and they know how to do your mechanics and figure things out. So evidently he's revered. Jordan Palmer is big time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe he's helped something. I mean, look, if Levis plays in the preseason, what we all need to hope is he has a good training camp and a good preseason. Then another team might go, all right, hey, we're interested. Here's a bag of footballs.
Yeah, right.
But we'll take him. So,
Dr. Crane, if you've got that clip with Callahan talking about Levis and Jordan Palmer, play it.
How's Wales into the new quarterback room, and what have you seen tangibly out of his work with Jordan Palmer?
I've seen a lot of improvement. I really have. I think him making the decision to go put in the work down there with Jordan was really beneficial. I got a lot of respect for Jordan. I think he's got a good program. He knows what he's doing. It's good off-season work. I see a real improvement in his footwork and his base. His ability to control the football has improved. I've been really pleased with the work that he's put in. He's reacted really well to the room. Will's going into his third year, so he understands what being a professional quarterback is. He understands what you're competing every day at that position to keep your job. I've been happy with Will. I've been pleased with his production and his work so far. He's had a good offseason.
That was Brian Callahan yesterday talking about Will Levis.
Again, it's not his arm.
No,
he's built like
it's up here.
He's built like a
brick. You know what?
Yeah, I mean, he's got everything you need. It's just mentally, my goodness.
That's what Charles Robinson said it this morning. He's got the intangibles and the talent. It's the decision making.
Yeah. Bottom line, I mean, again, if you go back, knowing what you know now, going back to watch that Bears game and the decision he made to flip the ball out there, it hurts even more now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Than at the time. And then the next week when he tried to roll the ball to Sharp against the Jets, terrible. And then the fourth week against the Packers or the Colts where he threw the interception and he's like, I didn't even see the guy. He was right in front of him.
I know.
That's when Callahan lost his mind. I mean,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? So, look, I'm with you, man. If he can help this team and move him forward, I'm all about moving guys, help them move forward. That's great. But I do think a fresh start would benefit him big time.
Coming up next, Ryan Smith from ESPN is going to join us. We'll tell you more about that. We're live today at the Hermitage Golf Course for the 615 Open, presented by Gary Force Acura and Atmos Energy, benefiting Folds of Honor. Dr. Crane, of course, is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday. We're at the Hermitage Golf Course for the 615 Open, benefiting Folds of Honor and presented by Atmos Energy and Gary Force Acura. Excited about our next guest. You know him from ESPN. He was on The Bachelor and now the host of 2020 on ABC. We say hello to Ryan Smith here on the program. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
Good, Ryan. Thanks for coming on. Ryan, Chase and I aren't that smart, so we get a guy like you who's really smart. It makes our show sound so much better. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, please. Come on now.
Right.
You guys are probably way smarter than I am. I'm a Sixers fan, so.
No, not, not at all. Let's talk about what's going on tomorrow night on 2020 because, that's such an iconic news magazine. You're part of that. That's got to be an amazing thing. But tomorrow night you have this special that's going on called Roadmap to Murder about this couple that lived up in Wisconsin that was brutally murdered and all that. First of all, two questions, Ryan. Why are we always fascinated with this kind of story? And this story also is pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah. The answer to the first question is we're fascinated by this just like we are all true crime because it feels like it could be somebody we know. It feels like a story that's like, it almost seems like fiction, but it's some kind of thing of like, that could happen to me. And in this case, this was a couple that a young man reported missing, their son, saying they went up to their cabin and never came back. And what's really shocking about this is perfectly nice couple, the kind that would eat popcorn together and watch movies, had two sons who were doing really well, but they eventually are found murdered, not just murdered, but dismembered. Ugh. And what ends up happening in this case, what I want people to watch for tomorrow when they see it on ABC, is the evidence. There was none in the beginning, but police uncovered clue after clue, including odd behavior by a family member, and then a piece of technology, a screenshot that blows this case wide open and finds a murderer.
Oh my goodness. When you report on stories like this, we're always like, go to the husband or go to the wife first. But oftentimes, you get kind of into the rabbit hole of these stories. And I know you see these all the time. Do you still get sucked into that rabbit hole?
Always. And it's not always in the same way. Sometimes it's the rabbit hole of like understanding the background of it or the investigation. In this case, it was the motive. It was the why, because these two people were about as nice as you could be. Guys, I was at their house. I went around the neighborhood, talked to officers, investigators, everybody, lots of people who knew them. It's like they were volunteering for the fire department. They were really nice people. And it just doesn't make sense as to why this would happen to them until you start uncovering the evidence and seeing sort of the nefarious stuff going on behind the scenes, stuff that they didn't do themselves, but that other people had against them.
Oh, my goodness. ABC News contributor and ESPN analyst Ryan Smith with us on the Chase and McJoe show. Ryan, you've done a lot of stuff at ESPN. I grew up on SportsCenter in the 80s and 90s. I never thought they would have a legal analyst be part of the show, but it's become a very important part of what you guys do, isn't it?
Yeah. Now I'm a SportsCenter anchor, but I still do legal analysis. And for a while, it was huge, and there were 2 or 3 legal analysts. Now it's not as big in the same way. Like we don't cover legal stories in the same way. So I'm not on talking about law as much, but I still do it on Stephen A. Smith's podcast, other things like that. Still do it for ABC. I think there's always a place just because, look, the sad thing is in sports, we always have legal issues come up. So I think as long as that happens, sadly, I'll continue to do it. But in many ways, it doesn't end up being the positive stuff. It ends up being the stuff that's tough. And the job for a guy like me is just to take the complicated and make it simple, to make it something that everybody can understand. Hey, this is why we're here.
Did we kind of see the birth of the legal analyst with the OJ trial? Was that kind of the first big thing with it?
Yep, that was it. That was when it became national. Like everybody's going to pay attention now. I think there were always this little smattering of legal stories here and there. But it was kind of like, we don't care. People do bad things all the time. But OJ really fixated the entire country on this. OJ gave birth to Court TV, where I worked for a while. Wow. OJ gave birth to all of these trials. And in many ways, it gave birth to the true crime genre. But it really did it for sports as well.
We're talking to Ryan Smith, ESPN, ABC. So we know one half of the NBA Finals with Oklahoma City beating Minnesota last night. They advance for their first finals since I think 2012. But also on the other side, Indiana could close it out against New York. Do you think the Pacers get it done tonight?
I don't think so. I think the Knicks hold on. I think it's going to go to 6. You know, I'll be honest with you. I really wanted the Knicks to go. This is going to sound really unpopular, but I'm going to say it anyway. There is something about the NBA where when the Knicks or the Lakers make it deep into the playoffs, it just seems to, like, everybody seems to watch and be more into it. And I know people hate to hear that, but that just happens to be the way I feel. That said, I think if Indiana makes the finals, it's going to be the greatest finals we've seen in a decade. I really do. Indiana plays fast. OKC's got the best defense. Both teams are really, really deep. I think it's like you're gonna hear names like that you haven't even heard before popping in with 15, 20 points, unexpected stuff happening. I think it's going to go 7 games. So for me, I don't think they're going to close it out tonight. I think the Pacers close it out in Game 6, and I think we got a barn burner of a finals.
I am really glad that you said that because I agree with you. I think it's going to be really, really, really compelling and good basketball. But you know, it's the age-old, it's Oklahoma City and Indiana. You know, the NBA is going to hate that.
Yep. I mean, it's a little different now, right? Because now we focus more on superstars, so it's a little bit easier to transcend that. But can you imagine what Adam Silver is thinking right now, sitting back saying, "Ooh, OKC and Indiana, great." I mean, he would love to. I mean, deep in his heart, I know he wouldn't say this, but I'm sure everybody at the NBA would love for the Knicks to be there. But if you can get a great series out of this, I do think people will tune in. And that's what I like about today's NBA. You have these teams, they might be smaller market, but they put on some great basketball. And that's what we all want to see.
Oh, absolutely. Ryan, you've done a lot of great profiles of athletes. One guy that's near and dear to us in Nashville, you did one on Steve McNair. That was really, really well done. You know, we love Steve here. What happened at the end of that, you know, is really split Nashville in a lot of ways. What did you find out about McNair when you did the story on him?
Yeah, this was one of the most heart-wrenching and also one of the most interesting cases I've ever done. What I found out was, so while we were doing this interview, the family granted us really great access. I spoke to his wife, his son, and what really moved me about this story was how they found out. I mean, I'll never forget it because the son was recounting it to me as he was going through it, and it was like he was experiencing it as he was telling me. Wow. And it's rare that I've seen something so moving, that they're in the kitchen, they get this call, he's a little boy, and at the time, he thought to himself, my dad is gone, I don't want to live anymore. That was his mentality right in that moment. And hearing this, having them convey that, man, I've never been so moved. I mean, it's like, this is one of the reasons why these stories are so interesting to tell, because it is the most human. You're talking about the hardest thing someone has to deal with in their life, and you're asking them to share it. And one thing I really appreciate from the McNair family, their openness and their kindness in letting us into their lives at their worst possible moment is just amazing. I mean, this is just such an incredible family. But that's what I learned. I mean, people will look at that and say, oh, Steve McNair, he was in this relationship, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's part of what they take from it. What I take from it was Steve McNair had this amazing family. And you can see why he became this great athlete, because he has this amazing support system behind him.
I got to think, Ryan, and it was such a great story that when you do these, and I worked in television for 20 years, it doesn't get any easier the more you cover tragic stories like this, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's one of the hardest things to do. And I gotta tell you, sometimes people stop me on the street and they're like, how do you talk to these people? It's always the same thing for me. For me, as difficult as it is, they've invited me here because they want to share something about their story. So when I sit down with them, I tell them every time, this is about your story. This isn't about me trying to make something happen out of your story. This is about you. You share with me what you want to share. If you feel like something doesn't sound right, let's talk about that. And maybe you can have another try at sharing that. But for me, when you start from the perspective of trying to honor the people sharing the story, you can never go wrong. And you are getting the most honest part of the worst part of their lives. Wow. It's not only fascinating, but it enables them to really connect with their story and share it. Because everybody has a reason for wanting to share that moment, even though it's difficult.
He's a contributor for ABC News and analyst for ESPN and SportsCenter anchor as well. Ryan Smith with us. Roadmap to Murder is the all-new 2020 special that will air tomorrow night on ABC. Ryan, thanks so much for doing this. We really enjoyed it.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate the time. Have a good time golfing out there.
We'll try. We will try. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan Smith joining us here on the program again from ESPN and ABC. Really interesting stuff. And it's kind of, you brought that up of why are we so fascinated with stories like this? But I mean, he talked about it that I do wonder if kind of the OJ thing led us all down that path where true crime is like one of the most popular genres.
Oh, that was a great question, because I think that's when it all hit the wall. It's like, all right, here's what we do now. Our anchors can't take this any further, so we need these analysts to come on and talk about it. And that's funny what you said about Court TV, man, because Court TV made their money off of that.
Well, because you think about it this way too. My generation, while I was young and obviously, my parents didn't let me watch the whole thing, I was very aware of what was going on with OJ. I knew who OJ was, but so I think that has a lot to do because like a lot of my friends that are my age love this stuff.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. More Chasing Big Joe live at Hermitage Golf Course coming up next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday. I had to think, the being off Monday throws me off.
Right.
We're presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, but we're at Hermitage Golf Course for our 615 Open Golf Tournament benefiting Folds of Honor, and that's presented by Gary Force Acura and Atmos Energy.
So if a Major League Baseball player in the World Series, say Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, goes Game 7, goes to bat, and they're playing in Yankee Stadium, right? You got 60,000 Yankee fans screaming at him, okay? Why can't we do this in golf?
What, cheer?
Yell. Everything. Why do we have to be quiet in golf? Because we're out at Hermitage today for the golfer honoring Folds of Honor, but I'm just curious, why can we not apply the same?
I think it's interesting you brought that up because the Live Tour that everyone hates, and I get why, but they've tried to get away from the traditional, hoity-toity, snotty way of playing golf.
Right.
They allow you to cheer, and the golfers embrace that. I think golf is a fantastic sport. I think it's fun to go out with your friends and, play and have a few beers and whatnot and all of that. And it's a fun sport to watch competitively. I think it is very, at times, old and antiquated with some of their quote unquote traditions.
So
Mookie,
right.
The golf clap, things like that.
Mookie's concentrating. What's the difference between Mookie concentrating and I can't name it golf. Tiger Woods concentrating? I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same sports psychology concentrating. Why can't I scream at you? I want to scream.
It's a great question.
I want to heckle you. We heckle other pro athletes. Why can't we heckle golfers? And don't come at me with this. Well, it's the etiquette and all. I know all that, but why can't I? Right? You heckle Will Levis when he comes on the road or goes to your town, plays whatever. We heckle people all the time. Why can't we heckle golfers? I want to do that.
Is that what you want to do today?
No, I mean, I wouldn't mind it if they come up here in a hole, whatever 10 or whatever it is on the green. I'd like an air horn. one of the best things ever in Jackass, the first one, when he was hiding in the bushes with an air horn, and they came over to fight him, and he says, "Don't hit me, I got bursitis," and he runs off. I mean, that stuff's funny. I've always been curious why we can't yell at golfers. Not get to the point where it turns into a frat party, but you come up, know that you can yell at them. I'd like to do that.
I would support this.
Yeah, you should.
I think it would be pretty funny. But look, I do like that, I think some of the younger golfers are, starting to kind of embrace a new way of thinking. And I think that's a good, now look, if it's the Masters and there's a guy at his tee shot that's, he's trying to line up his tee shot, like, okay, you can back off a little bit. But like
right.
at what's the Waste Management Open
in Phoenix?
In Phoenix, they have the party hole that everybody's cheering. And I think they cheer at every hole and everything.
And I think that's why John Daly is so beloved, because how he entered the PGA world. He got at the last second, won the PGA championship in 1991. He drove all night from Arkansas, won the tournament because he's like one of us. He's kind of a slob, funny guy, great guy, but he's not your typical, look at me, I'm a great athlete. He's nice, just a regular dude, man. And I think we all kind of fell in love with him because that's us. That's who we are. We are John Daly out there. Wasn't wearing the best clothes, wasn't wearing didn't have the best clubs, but he just went out and golfed and won it. Then he won the British Open in 95, and now he's iconic. I told you, when people go to golf tournaments when he played, it was Tiger's Gallery, John Daly, and everybody else after that. Yep. Nobody gave a rat's ass about other golfers.
7636 said golfers are soft. I mean, maybe in some ways.
But it's not their fault because they grew up with that. Don't say a word.
Yeah. 2688 says the Buick Open is well known for heckling. Which one is that?
I don't know, but I want to go to that one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nevada Josh, you're right. Look at how crazy they get with NBA players shooting free throws.
In college, high school, we heckled people. I mean, why can't we do this? Put a request in.
Dylan in Antioch is asking, have you seen the Scottish blackface sheep out there yet? They heckle you pretty loud out there at Hermitage.
We haven't seen them, but we've smelled them. So that's probably the same thing.
Mike and Lebanon, OMG, I hate the drunk idiots yelling stupid stuff during golf.
But that's, I mean, I get it. There's not going to be the perfect heckler out there, and you got to take the good with the bad. But I'd love to sit on the 18th hole and just scream and yell. It'd be so much fun. Could you imagine Mookie going to the plate and Yankee Stadium being quiet?
No.
Not a soul. Mookie's at the plate. I think they should do that because Mookie be like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, yeah, that would throw him off.
What's going on here? See,
I mean,
why
look,
not?
there are some sport like in, this is obviously a little bit different than what we're talking about, but like during COVID, this does apply. During COVID, I think it threw a lot of people off not to have a crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's like you feed off of that. Like pro wrestling, it was weird because like they're so important to be a part of the crowd or part of the show. But like baseball or football, it's like you hear this fake Madden crowd noise. And It's just like.
Well, it was funny when Kern told us that. I was like, you ever get yelled at by Vrabel? And he said, yeah, the COVID year, they're playing at Lambeau Field. Nobody's there. Vrabel's giving them the up and down and echoed throughout the entire stadium. And everybody heard it. Oh, it just kept going on and on and on. But, yeah, that was God, Lord, I hope we never go back to that again. But, yeah, that was I don't know. There's some things – I see things changing in the sports world fan-wise with this new generation. I do.
Carol from Bellevue says tennis is quiet when serving as well. I think it's because it's an individual sport.
This is from Carol?
Not my Carol.
Oh, no, your Carol's the best. Carol, thank you, because I forgot about tennis.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that?
Yeah. But tennis, it's like,
why can't we do that?
Out.
Yes.
Like, remember the Camp Krusty episode and like Krusty's heckling?
Yeah, at Wimbledon.
Yeah. And they're like, will the fat clown like please quit?
Yeah,
quit
right.
heckling?
I mean, would McEnroe not have loved that?
Oh, McEnroe would have fed off of it because he would have fired back.
Oh, yes. Can we heckle pickleball? You pickleball nerds, can we heckle you too? I'd love to do that. Point. Yeah. The more heckling we do, the better.
Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Interesting discussion. Very good. Coming up next, one half of the Stanley Cup final is set. Will the other be set tonight? We'll talk to Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, get his thoughts on all of that. Next on Chase and Big Joe, live at Hermitage Golf Course today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday. We're at Hermitage Golf Course for the 615 Open, the 4th annual 615 Open. Of course, it is presented by Gary Force Acura and Atmos Energy and benefiting Folds of Honor, so really looking forward to that. We say hello now to Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, presented by Old National Bank. Get old. And Greg, one half of the Stanley Cup final is set. The Florida Panthers going to their 3rd straight Stanley Cup final. Who will they face? Maybe we find out tonight. But Florida seems to be clicking on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, they figured it out in the second period, that's for sure. It didn't look so good in the first period last night where they got down 2-0. But, the thing that they all said was that in the locker room between the first and the second period, the mantra really was, let's just get one and see where it goes. And that's kind of in their mindset, I think, in a lot of these games where they know one goal could lead to 2 goals, could lead to 3 goals. I've said it before. They're the most blood in the water team I've ever covered, like where they score 1 goal and they're relentless after that to try to build a lead. And, so they get 3 in the second period. They recover nicely, and then they, manage to kill off the penalties they need to kill off, including 1 in the last 3 minutes of regulation to advance to their 3rd straight Cup final. And let's not sleep on how historic this is, man. Like, this is the first time we've had a team advance to the Stanley Cup final in 3 full seasons, not COVID impacted, since the Islanders dynasty in the 1980s. So this is a hell of an accomplishment for Florida.
So a friend of mine asked me last night, if Florida wins back-to-back Stanley Cups and having made 3 straight appearances, does that make them a dynasty? I've always kind of viewed that you got to win it 3 times, but you make a really good point when you talk about what the Islanders did.
Yeah, I mean, the dynasty debate, though, is an interesting one because I do think you need to win more than 2 to have a dynasty, or at the least, make maybe if you make the Cup final like 4 or 5 times. Like, I do think that Chicago came something close to a dynasty with their run that they had in the last decade, and the Devils won 3 Cups from 95 to 2003. I don't know what you call that. They also made a Cup final. They lost to Colorado in that instance. So I don't know. It's hard to really define what a dynasty is in a salary cap era, but what they've done is probably something close to it, and they're not done yet. I mean, you look at the age of this team, you look at the contracts that they have on guys that are going to be here for a long time. I mean, as long as the center holds and they have Barkov and Tkachuk and Reinhart and some of these other guys, they're going to be all right.
I think watching them, especially earlier in the year, there was a thought of, okay, there might be some fall off here. How much has the additions of Seth Jones and Brad Marchand kind of upstarted that and changed that? Because I feel like that they've made a pretty big difference.
So it's interesting. There's been a lot of talk. I've been on the series the entire time about, the idea that you need to infuse your lineup with hungry people, like once you've won before. And, I wrote about this last week on ESPN.com. Seth Jones, Nate Schmidt, Thomas Nosek, a few others, they've not won. And in fact, some of them get a little nervous sometimes about screwing it up for the guys that have won, right, while they're out there playing. But it's adding in guys that haven't done it before, that are doing anything they can to finally lift the cup for the first time in their careers. It helps kind of refresh things, I think, behind the scenes for this team. Marchand's case is really interesting because, everybody on the team has to serve a role. And sometimes that role is as simple as guy who talks to the media so no one else has to. And so they lose 2 guys from last year's team to free agency, Brandon Montour and Ryan Lomberg. And those guys, every single time you walked into the locker room last year, would be the first one to step up and talk to us, right? Or go to the podium and talk to us. And by having Brad there, Paul Maurice, their coach, said his ability to just kind of like hold court and be the media liaison for the team means that guys who don't necessarily love doing media or love talking about themselves get a chance to not have to do that. So on top of being a really important third line player, a leader, a veteran that brings all that experience and savvy to the lineup, he's also just good to have in the room as sort of someone who takes the pressure off of other people by being, as mouthy as he is.
ESPN senior NHL writer Greg Wyshynski is on with us.
Greg, I was reading your story on ESPN.com. Business as usual. Let me ask you this. If they would have told the Panthers last night, we're going to board a plane, fly to Edmonton, and play tonight, I think the team would have done it because they seem that focus coming off your article.
They are. I mean, I think they'd like a little bit of rest. They'd probably like to see their families. They'd probably also like to get this one guy, Luosterainen, back in the lineup. He got hurt last night. I think with the rest before the final, he'll come back. He's an important player for them. You know, it was bizarre, to be honest with you, to watch a team win like that. And then, you know, the biggest celebration they had was putting on their hats. And in fact, Carter Verhaeghe said that if they win it a fourth time in a row, they might just keep their helmets on. They might not even put on the hats next time. I mean, they're just so blasé about winning a conference title. It's kind of funny to think about teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs that would, like, you know, literally cut off an arm to try to win a conference title at this point. And the Panthers are just kind of like business as usual about it. I saw Aaron Ekblad, their defenseman, at the hotel earlier this morning. And I just said, you know, it was kind of funny to see you guys be all business-like. And he literally shrugged and was just like, it's just the conference finals. I'm like, all right, well, if that's the attitude you bring to this thing, no wonder, because they're just so focused on Cup. They're just so focused on being back-to-back champs. It really is remarkable to see how emotional last night's game was, what an amazing achievement it is to win the conference 3 straight years. And for them, it was Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so first off, I think they would like this series between Dallas and Edmonton to go 7 games. But who would Florida love to face?
It's a really good question. I mean, Dallas if Dallas makes it through this series, if they somehow come back and rally, I mean, their journey to the Cup final will have been one of the hardest ones I can remember. You know, Colorado in the first round, President's Trophy winning Winnipeg in the second round, and then beating Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl while being down 3-1 in the conference final. It's insane. That's a team that is maybe a team of destiny kind of deal if they end up pulling this thing off. In the case of Edmonton, it's interesting because, you know, Florida beat them last year. They obviously took their foot off the pedal and allowed that thing to go 7 games. They know what they're dealing with Edmonton. I think Edmonton's maybe a little bit better defensively than they were last year. But don't forget, boys, like, we just saw Edmonton lose a real key player to injury for the rest of the season, and Zach Hyman, top line winger for McDavid, plays on the power play, plays on the penalty kill. Most importantly, one of their most physical players against a Florida team that is, without question, the biggest bully in the league right now. So I don't know who they'd rather play. I think both teams present challenges, but I think they're confident that they can beat both.
Well, with that being said, are you heading to cover Dallas Edmonton, or are you just going to wait?
Yeah, I'm currently at the Raleigh airport. I will be heading to LaGuardia to give some loved ones kisses, probably get a haircut, and then prepare for. I mean, if Edmonton makes it through, man, that's another 5 years off my life, flying back and forth between Fort Lauderdale and Edmonton. That final last year was not easy to cover, and now this time it'll start in Edmonton. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't know if the Dallas series continues to go where it's going, I might have to hop on that series. But for now, I will get a brief respite from the road.
So you don't think it ends tonight?
I don't know if it will, to be honest with you. I think Dallas has played really well in the last couple of games. They just haven't gotten the results, and then most importantly, they haven't gotten a lead. Now, you know, Carolina lost last night despite getting a lead, but it's such a simple thing that once you get on the board, you get a little bit more comfortable. You can kind of like exhale a little bit. And in the case of the Dallas-Edmonton series, I think the biggest thing in the series is that Edmonton has been completely unbothered. Like, they're the most unbothered team in the entire conference final because Dallas has done nothing to make them doubt that they can win this series. They've done nothing to make life uncomfortable for Stuart Skinner or for McDavid or Draisaitl. So, you know, if they can get on the board first tonight at home and it's rocking and rolling a little bit, maybe they get a little more confident. But, I mean, they've just been a team that's overcome adversity the entire postseason. I have a hard time believing that they're going to bow out in 5 tonight.
Well, I find it ironic that when I go to the NHL page on ESPN.com that Mikko Rantanen's picture is there. If he wakes up, then I think Edmonton might be in trouble.
Yeah, and if he wakes up, usually he's awake for the next 4 or 5 games, the way he goes.
Right.
But, again, like the secondary scoring on that team, really, they need a couple of heroes to step up. Robertson's been real good the last couple of games. like overall they've been on the precipice of really breaking out offensively, but they got to figure out a way to make Skinner's life a little bit more hectic. He's been good, but he's not been great. But again, like they just found a way to overcome moments like this during their run, and we'll see how Edmonton responds to losing a real key player to injury.
Greg, I'm curious, going back to Carolina for a second, how is Rod Brind'Amour viewed now? I mean, he's obviously a good coach. They've been good teams, but they can't quite get there. So how is he viewed?
It's a good question. He made a defense of his record last night after the game, insofar as he didn't really think that this team was going to be one that might even make the playoffs. Now, he might just be like poo-pooing it a little bit, but quite frankly, it made me feel better because I picked him to miss the playoffs before the season. So maybe I wasn't all that wrong about evaluating this roster. I think we got to remember that it's really hard to do what the Hurricanes have done, which is to make the conference final, a bunch of times under Rod's coaching. They're not exciting. They don't really light up the fan bases around the league when they're in the playoffs. But what they do is very effective. And is it just bad luck? Is it missing a few key players? If Rantanen was on this team, would things have been different? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that it's a really tricky thing to say that, hey, we should go in another direction with a coach that just simply keeps driving up the playoff revenue that you make every year by going on these deep runs. You know what I mean? So around the league, there's probably questions about whether this system can ultimately lead to a cup championship, but there's no question that the system leads them onto very deep runs in the playoffs, and ultimately for their owner, Tom Dundon, that might be enough.
Greg, real quick, I know his time in Nashville was not a lot, but Seth Jones, a lot of people still follow him.
Yeah.
You had a chance to talk to him. I mean, he's 4 wins away from winning a Stanley Cup. It's got to be an amazing feeling.
It's an amazing feeling. He was rescued from the depths of despair in Chicago, which was not a fun place, I don't think, for him to play. He literally, at one point in the season, was like, please let me out of here. I think in Seth's case, though, what's interesting is I never really thought that he was cast correctly as being a number one defenseman. I think his best years were in Columbus, where he had Werenski with him. Werenski is kind of on the same plane as him. And then he goes to Chicago, he signs that big contract, and everyone's expecting to be a Norris guy. And in actuality, I think he's much better suited in the role that he's in Florida, where, Aaron Ekblad is pretty much, Ekblad and Forsling, I should say, are the top defensive pair. And then Seth can kind of just be a number two guy, play with Nico Mikkola. And I think he's been really effective in that role. So again, the Panthers are just so smart in how they see the pieces fit on their team, and the acquisition of Jones and having him play that role on this team has been smart. Who knows what will happen if Ekblad leaves in the free agency, if his role needs to expand. But for now, I think he's cast perfectly on this team. Do
you think Paul Maurice gets the credit he deserves?
I give him all the credit as a writer. He writes half my story by opening his mouth half the time. But no, I think this run really cements him as being a special coach. I think he's pressed all the right buttons. You see last night the way that he manipulated his lines. He took Verhaeghe off the Tkachuk line, put him with Barkov, and lo and behold, that's the combination that ends up winning the game. I think he's done a really masterful job of understanding the stakes and keeping his team focused. But again, his job is easy in the sense that they've got such a competent veteran core. It all starts with Barkov, who never gets the credit he deserves. He's never mentioned with McDavid and Draisaitl and McKinnon and Matthews and all these guys that put up great numbers, but he's every bit the player that they are. I mean, you saw if you watched the game last night, the play he made on the game-winning goal, just like 8 guys in the league that can do that, and he's one of them. So with Barkov as the leader, both on and off the ice, I think Paul's job gets a lot easier, but that's not to diminish the job that he's done in keeping this team focused and really understanding what he needs to do lineup-wise to make this team advance as far as they have.
Well, Greg, we will see how it all shakes out in the West and look forward to seeing that final. But thanks so much for doing this. We'll talk next week.
Anytime. Thanks, boys.
Greg Wyshynski joining us here on the program, presented by Old National Bank. Get old. More coming here from Hermitage Golf Course for the 615 Open. Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
And will the Harlequin in the third row please keep his voice down?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, folks. Sorry, Your Majesty.
Krusty. One of the greatest episodes in Simpsons history. Camp Krusty.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I'm going to make it up to you, kids. We're going to go to the happiest place on earth, Tijuana.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Thank you. You know, people have weighed in. So I'm like, you know, the tennis part of this. Yeah, if we're going to yell at golf, let's let tennis, even though it's an individual sport, who cares? When somebody's at the plate, it's them versus the pitcher. It's still one-on-one individual. What's the difference from a friend?
Yeah, I think that's a true point. The PFL World Championship semifinals are Thursday, June 12th in Municipal Auditorium, and you can be there. Text in the keyword MATCH, MATCH, to 615-737-1025 now to be entered to win a pair of VIP ringside tickets. Visit pflmma.com/schedule for more details. Now, we have a special caller on the line that wants to tell a Big Joe golf story.
Oh, no.
Hair Metal Henry is on the line with us.
Oh, my gosh.
Hello, Henry.
Well, good afternoon, boys. Being that you have a promo that says we like to laugh and laugh at ourselves, and since you're at the golf course where this happened, I would like to tell a Golfing with Big Joe story, with Joe's permission, of course.
Go ahead.
Do you know this?
Yes.
Yeah. Even if I didn't know I was going to tell it anyway. But so it's been several years ago. Joe invited me out. I think it was a Donaldson Chamber of Commerce tournament there at Hermitage. And his buddy Greg is playing with us, and his buddy Leland is just riding in the cart with us. Never hit one ball, not even a putt. He just drank the whole time.
Right.
So it's the afternoon. We're the second group off the tee box, and the group in front of us has had some quality pregame time. And so the first guy to hit, they pulled the exploding golf ball trick on this guy. And he
That's
hit,
right.
crap goes flying everywhere. So we're already dying laughing. And then after they take off, it's our turn to hit. Joe's the first one up, and I figured, you know, he's related to the Ellers. He could probably play some pretty good golf. And when Joe goes for the golf ball, swinging for the fence, baby. I mean, he's going for it. And he rears back, and he takes a big Dave Winfield cut at this ball. It goes barely off the tee, shoots straight up, and almost hit him right between the eyes. I swear to God. I could not stop laughing. The rest of the day, I don't think I hit it out of my shadow. I was laughing so hard. But one of the best parts was we get to the team photo, and Joe shuts up this thing where he and Greg are going to fight. So they're leaning in, basically yelling at each other. Leland's got Greg wrapped up. I've got Joe wrapped up, which is ridiculous. I've got the strength of a field mouse. And it just, one of the greatest pictures. Joe, do you have it? Because I can't find it anywhere. I'd love to send it to you guys.
Yeah, I got it. I'll find it. I absolutely got it. Yeah. But I'm telling you, you couldn't, the shot that I hit, you couldn't do that if you had 1,000 shots at it. Couldn't do it.
And I tell you, as bad as I played that day, I've never had more fun on the golf course than that day. So if you boys are playing today, get him straight and stay away from his big swing.
We'll try. Thank you,
Stay
Henry.
away from my big swing. You got that right.
Oh boy. Thank you for that. Yeah. I've hit some. No, the funniest one is I've never hit it straight up, but I hit one that it like went off the side of it and just literally went to another hole.
Love it.
Almost took out a group of guys.
Henry, on this one, you play at Nashboro Village on the, I forget what hole it is, but the apartments, the condos are right next to the fairway. So one time I hit a screamer that went about 60 yards straight and took a left.
Yeah.
And you hear glass breaking. And a guy came out just screaming, gonna whip our butt, and then he saw us. He's like, "Hey, yeah, who did that?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Wasn't us." I'm sorry, but if you live, you know it's gonna happen.
Right.
That's why if you live next to a golf course and you got, the golf balls flying in all the time, you know what's happening because you live next to a golf course. I feel sorry for you on that one.
Yeah, I don't know that I've always thought about that. Like, would I want to live on a golf course knowing that it's going to happen?
If you live on a golf course, you've made it. Yeah,
that's true.
Chase McCabe has made it.
That's true.
Onto a golf course. I will tell you this though.
It's hazard pay for some of the stuff I have to deal with.
The best dressed these golfers are, the worst golfers they are. I'm telling you right now.
That's a good point.
Us, we're dressed terrible. We're probably better than those guys. The guys that got the fancy shirts and the hats and the shoes and all that, terrible golfers.
Coming up next, we're going to tell you about a really cool event happening at the Fairgrounds Speedway tonight. It's leading into NASCAR weekend out at the Super Speedway. Anthony Tate, who's the general manager of the Fairgrounds Speedway, is going to join us because 102.5 The Game is your racing station. You can tune in all this weekend for the NASCAR races that are going to be out at the Nashville Super Speedway. It's presented by Green Trees. Tomorrow, the Rackley Roofing 200, which is the Craftsman Truck Series race. We'll get underway at 6 o'clock and then 6:30 with a green flag at 7. 6 o'clock on Saturday for the Xfinity race, and then the Cup Series race starting at 5 o'clock coming up on Sunday. Some of that, the stations could change due to Vanderbilt and their regional schedule. So just check out Twitter, and I'll be tweeting out where things will go as well. Green Trees Company is family-owned cannabis company and dispensary located in Hendersonville and a new location in West Nashville, and available online at greentreeswithaz company.com. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday. We're live at the Hermitage Golf Course for the 4th annual 615 Open, presented by Gary Force Acura and Atmos Energy and benefiting Folds of Honor. We're excited about racing this weekend out at the Nashville Super Speedway, but it all gets started at the Fairgrounds Speedway starting tonight with the Battle of Broadway 150. And we say hello to the GM of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Anthony Tate, who is on the line with us. And he also has the current points leader at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Chase Johnson, with him. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Thanks.
Anthony, I'll start with you. We're excited about tonight. If people are kind of looking for something to do and haven't gotten their tickets yet, what do they need to do to go see some racing tonight, which includes NASCAR Cup Series winner Josh Berry?
Yeah, well, first, Chase, thanks for having us, and we're really excited about the Battle of Broadway 150 tonight. It's going to be a great time. Fans can look for tickets here at the box office today. Kids 11 and under are free, or also follow us along on social media, Facebook and X. But all the information's on Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing, and it all starts today. Cars are going to get on grandstands open at 4 o'clock, autograph sessions at 5, and we'll get going racing about 6 p.m. tonight.
So I guess the main event that everybody's coming to see, that's going to be the Pro Late Models, correct?
Correct. Tonight we got the Pro Late Models. That's a 150-lap event, and then we're also going to have just before that, the CRA Street Stock Series for 30 laps. And we're in the pit area right now. We got a great field of cars tonight. We're really excited about it. Weather's looking better and better, and looking forward to everyone getting on track today.
All right, so let's bring in Chase Johnson, who's the Pro Late Models points leader. How excited are you for this showcase event tonight and having a guy that has come up through the ranks of short track racing, but now is a Cup Series regular, and Josh Berry? How cool is it going to be to have him?
Yeah, it's super awesome. I'm very excited to race in the Battle of Broadway tonight. My dad always told me in order to be the best, he said, you always got to beat the best. So I'm looking forward to racing with the best tonight and put on a good show for the fans.
I got to tell you, I was at an event last night for Speedway Children's Charities, and Josh was there running some iRacing stuff. I mean, he busted into a sweat. He was really into it last night, so he's going to have his game face on. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy, and I look forward to racing with him tonight and put on a good, clean battle with him in the Battle of Broadway 150.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're the points leader right now. I know it's still kind of early in the season, and it's a close battle, but what's kind of your journey been like?
Yeah, so we started on the big track in late models, and I believe 21. So this is our 5th season. We ran pretty good there for a while. We swapped chassis over last year, and it really upped our game a whole lot, running the Hampton chassis, and we just been on it from there.
We're talking to the Fairgrounds Speedway GM, Anthony Tate, and also Chase Johnson, who is the points leader in the Pro Late Model Series.
Chase, what's it like going against a guy like Josh Berry tonight, knowing you want to be where he is? Is there added pressure for you, or is this just an amazing opportunity that you'll have tonight?
Yeah, it's super awesome to race against a guy like Josh. I pulled for him when he was racing for junior in the late model stock. My dad always told me, he said, in order to be the best son, you got to beat the best. And Josh did it the hard way, like most local racers. He raced his way up, proved he could do it, got hooked up with the right people, and he made it. So it's definitely a goal for all short track racers.
Yeah, Chase, I didn't know your dad was Ric Flair. Anthony, let me talk to you for a second about this. I know you're new here. We've talked a little bit on the socials. It's kind of exciting. I mean, you're a race fan. You love racing. And this track, I mean, we love this racetrack. Do you feel that from people when you're out talking around town?
I think the biggest thing that I hear from our fans is how much they love and support the track and want to, when they come out, they're telling their friends and family to come along with them. The history here is second to none. It's one of those facilities, kind of, I relate it to Wrigley Park in Chicago. You get the goosebumps when you walk in here. and you just think about all the great racers that came before, and even promoters. A lot of great people have come here and come through the gates. And so for me, it's a real special event for me in my first year here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, but also just feeling the history and talking with the fans and the stories makes it really special.
How crucial, Anthony, is a night like tonight for the Fairgrounds Speedway?
Yeah, it's big. It's really big. It's important for us to, start racing in Nashville, right? We have the Super Speedway, and Matt Gricci and the team are going to start off tomorrow with the Craftsman Truck Series, followed by Xfinity and NASCAR on Sunday. So for us to showcase to America local short track racing for all the fans that are in town, and if you're out at the campgrounds listening, come on out and see us. We have tickets available tonight. Pit pass is available. We have an autograph session. So it is really important. And I think for myself and Track Enterprises, it's a great event for us to be included in the start of racing in Nashville this year.
Well, and Anthony, I also got to mention Dawson Sutton's going to be there as well, who's a regular in the Craftsman Truck Series now, but has obviously spent a lot of time out at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, Dawson's a great driver. Last year he did the points with us and had a great season. And I had a little bit of time earlier today to say hello. They're on site. They pulled in last night, but like you said, the show's for the fans. It's exciting to have what we have going on in Nashville, and it should be a really good night tonight.
Well, I'm looking forward to being out there a little bit later on, so we'll see you then. And again, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing. You can go and get more information, but go out, support this great track, support these guys like Chase Johnson. And Chase, good luck to you the rest of the way. We'll see you tonight.
Thank you, sir. Sounds good.
Anthony, we'll see you later.
Thanks, guys. And now get out there on the golf course and maybe hit a hole-in-one or at least a fairway for us. Yeah, work out.
Yeah, well, we're going to try. We're going to do our best.
We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. That is Anthony Tate, the general manager of the Fairgrounds Speedway, and Chase Johnson, who's the Pro Late Models points leader right now. And again, the Battle of Broadway 150 presented by Rackley Roofing. You can check that out. Racing starts at 6 o'clock at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I'll be out there. I'll be doing some call-ins, and really looking forward to seeing some good racing tonight.
So what's your deal tomorrow? Tomorrow at the Speedway, the Nashville Super Speedway.
Yes. So tomorrow we are going to do the show out at the Nashville Super Speedway. Matt Gricci going to join us. We're going to, I haven't told you yet, Ross Chastain. We're going to tape an interview with him after our show, but we'll run that a little bit later on because of his schedule. But looking forward to that, being at the Media Center, and then I'm there all weekend.
So, what are you doing for the truck race tomorrow night?
I will be on the PA with our good buddy Joe Williams. I'll be down doing the pre-race ceremonies by the stage and all of that. Do that for I'll be doing parts of pre-race ceremonies all weekend for all three.
Is that the Q&A? Do drivers come up and you ask them questions?
That'll be Sunday. I will, and you can go to NashvilleSuperspeedway.com for the full schedule of everything and like driver appearances and all that good stuff. But yes, I will be doing. Let's see if I can find it. I will be doing some Q&A stuff with, I think it's Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, I believe.
On the big trailer?
Yeah. Yeah, so you see that on Sunday.
Get it in front of, so about 50,000 people watching the Chaser on the big screen out there.
Yeah, something like that.
Can I give you some questions to ask?
No, I don't need that. So all this will start at like 3:30. Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Noah Gragson. So we had Noah on the show. It'll be fun. Kyle Larson just attempted the double, so I'm sure that'll come up.
Okay, good.
Do you think it's funny, like, because with him, I would probably be like, so what's new?
Yeah, right. How's it going?
You got nothing to talk about, right?
Yeah. Be like Lundberg from Office Space.
Yeah.
What's happening?
So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Proud of you, man. That's awesome.
I've enjoyed it. This will be the fifth one. I've been a part of it since it came back, and so really going to be a really cool, busy weekend.
Saturday, you doing the same thing?
Yeah, I don't think there's Q&A Saturday, but I'll do the pre-race stuff. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know any of this. So when you're doing the race Sunday, if there's a wreck, you're like, 42 against the wall.
So during the actual race, we'll air MRN. Not that you can hear it in the grandstands, but that will or PRN, I should say, will carry their coverage. And so in the bathrooms and the suites and all that stuff. And then, yes, when there's a caution, when there's a break, our friend Jill Jelnick will be working the pits, and she'll be doing some fan stuff. And also Jose, who goes around with NASCAR, so he'll be doing that. We'll kind of toss to them. But yeah, Joe Williams and I will talk about the race, but
over the PA,
yeah,
over the entire,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And by the way,
I would not do that.
I don't think I even told the story. So last year, I did my It's Showtime, folks, to start it, and I almost said Chase and Big Joe.
Please do it.
I said Chase and Joe Williams.
Please do it. Joe won't care. It's half a Joe.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, do it. Please do it.
Okay.
I'll get it done. Proud of you.
You're going to be there. So.
I will be there, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tossing up the first pitch. So,
yeah.
Can't wait.
And for the T-ball game that's going on in the campground.
I want to do first down Rackley.
But I am excited to do some driver introductions in the Xfinity and Truck Series, and so that should be fun.
What's the truck guy from Rackley we had on?
Dawson Sutton.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, driving the. Oh wait, this is Xfinity. 25, I think, driving the number 25, Rackley War Chevrolet from Nashville, Tennessee, Dawson Sutton.
So the pressure that kid's got tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Because your dad's sponsoring that race
there,
and you're doing it.
If he wrecks out, do you think he's just like, you got to walk home, son?
I think he gets grounded. I think he's grounded.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no more for you.
Real quick, we have a call. Hello, Clay.
Oh no,
it's been a while. What you doing?
Chase, it sounds like you're getting ready to be a big shot.
Right?
Well, some say I've already been one. No, I'm. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
You boys know that even though there's breaks in between my calls, I'm always listening.
Well, we're glad. We appreciate
you, buddy.
So y'all are at Hermitage Golf Course. Shall we talk golf, or what should we talk?
Whatever you want to talk about. All right, we got like a minute, so.
All right. How about the Vandy boys getting the overall #1 seed? I'm pretty happy about that. I actually got to have a conversation with Corb after the selection show Monday at the Commodore. So I'm excited about that. Never been to Omaha. I told him if they make it to Omaha, I will be there.
Are you banned from the Hawk too?
I'm banned everywhere down there, Chase.
Okay. Well, Corbs needs to work on that.
What's that?
I said Corbs needs to work on that.
Well, I'm sure he knows because word gets out, So I'm sure he knows, but we've never discussed that. But anyway.
Okay.
What happens if Vandy loses to Wright State tomorrow night? Will you have another meltdown?
I might. Let's see. I will be probably at the pub watching the game. And if things get a little tense, I'll just have to maybe order a little alcohol. You know what I mean?
Can you not go in the parking garage up at the 25th floor or whatever it is and then watch
No,
it?
they got his picture hanging up there.
I have done that before. I've gone up on top. And, even though you're a long way from the field, you can see really good. The only part of the field you really can't see very good is the right field corner. Other than that, you can see great.
Well, and get binoculars, Clay. I think you should do that. You need to wear your like a little afro, one of those things you buy at the store, and a fake mustache and all that other stuff. Nobody would know.
Please do that.
Maybe put on some shades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
That'd be good. All right, Clay, we got to run.
See you, boys.
See you, Clay. And you can tune in to 102.5 The Game tomorrow as the #1 overall seed, Vanderbilt Commodores, host Wright State at the Hawkins Field. First pitch around 5 o'clock Central. They'll have pregame for you at 4:45. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and thegamenashville.com. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays here on Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. This week's Nashville's best deal of the week is 312 Pizza Company in Germantown. 312 Pizza Company serves the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals to get half off a $30 gift card to 312 Pizza Company while supplies last. Chasing Big Joe at the Hermitage Golf Course. 615open.com is where you can go to participate in the silent auction that is going on right now. There's some great stuff, too, that you can get in this silent auction. So Nashville Super Speedway stuff, Predator stuff, concerts, and even a date with Big Joe. So
right, we're going to go to Golden Corral.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So you can go and check that out. With that, let's get to What Day Is It and Celebrity Birthdays. Presented by Jared Companies, Inc., the backbone of Middle Tennessee's construction scene since 1997. JaredCompaniesInc.com, above and beyond industry standards.
All right, gentlemen. First list we have, it says Ascension. That's it. It doesn't have a really definitive definition for that.
Okay.
So,
all right, that's a good one.
End of the Middle Ages Day.
Waiting for that.
Yep. Let's see. International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. So there's that. Learn about Composting Day. So use your trash for beneficial things.
Yeah, love that.
National 529 Day. It's College Savings Day, so people that don't know what those numbers mean. National Biscuit Day. Shout out Joe Rexroad.
Love biscuits.
Paperclip Day.
Maple Street biscuits.
Delicious. Paperclip Day is today. Put a pillow on your fridge. Wait. Put a pillow on your fridge day. Oh, yeah, I thought I read that right. That's weird.
Is that for the cat?
I assume so. Cat, or, if someone likes to sleep on top of an elevator or something. I don't know. World Digestive Health Day is today, and that's to wrap it up. So make sure your digestive tract is A1.
Thanks for wrapping it up. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steph, for us. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You have to get these within 2 years. Our first birthday, the creator, the composer of the Simpsons theme, Danny Elfman.
Oh, also did Men in Black and a few other things as well. Danny Elfman, I'm going to say 75.
82.
72. Singer LaToya Jackson, Michael's brother or sister.
I was about to say. LaToya Jackson is 63.
59.
68. Warren Beatty's wife, Annette Bening. How old is she today?
74.
70.
67. You guys are doing good today.
Yeah, we are.
Like it. Rupert Everett, the actor who was in one of those movies with Julia Roberts.
62.
65.
66. Job, Nick. Today is my granddaughter's birthday, man. Special birthday to Riley Keough. Happy birthday, baby. Grandpa loves you. Riley, she was in Mad Max, the Fury one, Fury Road.
Oh, so the newest one?
The one that came out like 7-8 years ago?
Yeah. 37.
42.
36. Happy birthday, baby. It's 1-1. Going down some more here. Doing all right, Dave?
Yeah, we're good. How are
I'm
you?
trying to get my computer to go faster.
That's
All
good.
right. From Luke and Laura General Hospital, Anthony Geary. How old is he today?
68.
59.
78. Actor Ted Levine. He played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. Also was in Monk. Also was in the movie Heat.
74.
77.
68. TV's The Highlander. Actor Adrian Paul.
There can only be one Highlander. Adrian Paul, I don't know, 64.
65.
66. Dr. Crane's up 2-1. Melissa Etheridge.
The singer?
No, the caterer.
Why are you such a Richard? I'm going to say 57.
59.
64. Blair from Facts of Life. Actress Lisa Whelchel.
61.
72.
62. We're tied at 2. Guitar player Noel Gallagher of Oasis.
First, here's Wonderwall. 58.
53.
58 exactly. Chase up 4-2. Scary Spice of the Spice Girls.
53.
52.
50. 4-3. Oh, this is going to be good again. He's no longer with us, but hey, how about that, Bob Hope? He needs something. All right, we've got 3 left. Ken Schrader.
Oh, Schrader. Kenny Schrader is 63.
66.
70.
Oh, wow.
Eric Davis, former Reds outfielder. Eric Davis chases up 4-3.
57.
55.
63. Our last birthday, Chase, you can win it. Dr. Crane, you can win it. Carmelo Anthony. How old is Carmelo Anthony?
42.
41.
At the buzzer, Dr. Crane gets it. He's 41. Amazing. Down 2-0, he rallies in honor of Bob Hope and my granddaughter. Happy birthday, Riley.
Congratulations, Dr. Crane.
Thank you very much. Carmelo's one of my favorite players.
That is going to do it for us. Again, we're at the Hermitage Golf Course. We'll be here all day. DVD will be here. Stillman will be here. And you can go to 615open.com. That is where you can find the silent auction and benefiting Folds of Honor, which is our charity. But that will do it for us.
Yes, as we always leave our shows every time. To the guys out there, we always mention if you're struggling, going through some things, please talk to somebody. On your cell phone, you can call or text 988. Somebody's always there. It's anonymous. Please open up and talk to people. That's what we need. We need you here more than anything in this world, because our world is more beautiful because you are here. And know that we love you, and more importantly, more than anything else, we tell you all the time, God loves you.
DVD coming up next. Peace, love, rock and roll. We'll talk to you tomorrow starting at